Hi all and welcome back to episode 2 of the Blair and White Brief, your weekly catch up on the ins and outs of horse racing through my eyes. So last Friday we left you off and I had a little bit of a Christmas roundup, I suppose, outlining potential each way chance for the Gold Cup that didn't run in either the King George or the Savills Chase at Leopard's Den. We moved on though to Sandown last Saturday. We're looking at the kind of the premier racing, and to be honest, we didn't exactly find many Cheltenham Festival clues. Like Laurina ended up running just against the one other horse. She won by 48 lengths to San Solano, but it's very hard to know, kind of what that form is. Well, the form is pretty hopeless, but it was good to see her fitting well. She did it well, she jumped well, and stayed up. She seemed to win with any amount in hand. It could have been 88 lengths, not 48. So that was impressive in its own way. I don't think we should discredit her for that. But that will lead us on to our kind of big debate of the brief for this week. But I'll just go through the other races quite quickly. The Veterans Chase went to Houblon des Obeaux. These veteran chases are fantastic, but they actually aren't really telling us much. They're just telling us that Houblon des Obeaux is the fittest and the freshest of all the old guys. They won't be playing a part, I suspect, in any of the finishes of the Cheltenham Festival or any of the big races. We had the Tolworth Hurdle. The Tolworth Hurdle was a interesting race. Like, I tipped up, I was happy enough because I tipped up Elixir de Nuts. I drifted out to 3-1 and it won quite nicely. And there's a part of me that says that this horse is an each way squeak in the Supreme, and don't kind of get over the top about it. I don't think it's much of a chance, but it's just the fact that this Supreme at the moment is looking bare, I think. Like, it's a very strange Supreme. Usually you've got 4 or 5 horses that have won once and are going to go into an open race or kind of a graded race and then onto the Supreme. You've actually got 3 or 4 near the top of the market now that are actually quite exposed. Like, well, not exposed, but they've run quite a lot. Like, this Elixir de Nuts has run quite a lot. Quick Grabham's run quite a lot. Aramon's run quite a lot. Like, they're not kind of your typical Supreme fancies, and therefore that would give me a feeling that this horse might have a squeak. He's plenty game enough, but I do think he's a chaser down the line, essentially. And 2 Mile Hurt, like, I don't think the Supreme Novices will particularly be his forte. I don't think it was that great at Tolworth Hurdle anyway. Like, I know people like to go over the top about things, but Grand Sancy was beaten in a handicap last time out. He came second. Southfield Stone ran an alright race, but again, he's a chaser in the making in third. And Rathhill ran no race, so we don't know. Like, that wasn't obviously Rathhill's running, but it was still very disconcerting and kind of puts a bit of a tarnish on the form. So I'd be just wary about that. Going on then to the Sunday, where we saw the big grade 1 over Naas, the Lawlers of Naas Novice Hurdle, which Battle Over Doyen won. But again, the race was slightly harmed, I felt, by obviously the Tornado Flyer being a bust in terms of pulling up down the back. Was obviously beaten far too soon for that to be his running, and therefore kind of the race lost its main challenger. And also the other Mullins horse, Come To Me, ran no race as well. Now, I'd be more inclined to think that he's just maybe a bit out of his depth in that level, but again was beaten too far out for you to think that was really his running. But Battle Over Doyen, credit to the favourite, won it very well. He looks still very kind of novice-y. He took a while to get revved up. I think essentially he is a 3-mile chaser in the making, as they always say. It's kind of pretty typical at this stage from the Giggenstein band that they'll be saying he's a 3-mile chaser in the making. But this is a horse who perhaps, for me, I wouldn't be backing in the Ballymore Novices Hurdle this year, because I just don't think... I know, I'm not sure he's mature enough. I'm not sure this is really his game, but I'd be very interested. I'd already be thinking And I know this is very, very anti-post, but Battle Over Doyen for the 2020 RSA Chase, I think already could be a bit of a smashing bet. We'll have to see how he runs. If he does run in Cheltenham in the first place, he is joint favourite. But to be fair, you look at between him and the other joint favourite, Champ, and I'd usually beat an Irish bias first, but I just feel Champ is more of a Neptune type or Ballymore type horse. As for Battle Over Doyen, is really a kind of a big scopy chaser. One to take out of that race definitely though was Mouse Morris's Sam's Profile, ridden by Brian Cooper, got no run and was still storming home in second. Again, another chasing type. Mouse Morris has been a bit hard done by, I feel, by Gigginstown taking his horses away. And he's still got a nice enough little set of horses to himself, and fair dues to him. I think he's a very good trainer. He's obviously a bit of an oddball, but Mouse Morris can get the job done, as we've seen multiple times. There wasn't really anything throughout the week. I was looking to see whether there was anything kind of any real note, and there kind of wasn't. There was all right meetings at Doncaster and at Catterick and all this, and Chepstow, but there wasn't actually any big winners. Any winners where you kind of, that was interesting, that was a good maiden hurdle, that was a good novice hurdle, something like that. There kind of just wasn't that. I suppose the most likely to potentially even run at Cheltenham was probably the Doncaster winner, Talk Is Cheap, for Alan King, twice behind Labaga Raw, the mare, in two novice chases so far this year, coming third first time round, and second time round. But second time out, back in third, was lost in translation. It was Frank the Form, no end. And this horse could well run in either the JLT or the RSA. Got the better of Theatre Territory. It was not a bad benchmark for those sort of kind of novice chasers. So Talk Is Cheap, perhaps has a very, very slim each way sniff in one of those races. But I couldn't really see it myself. But that brings us back to our main talking point of the brief this week, which is Laurina, the mare. Is Laurina good enough to win a champion hurdle? Yes or no? I want your take on it. I want to hear what you think. And personally, I think she is. And I know people will disagree. Obviously, people will disagree. Half of the people will say yes, half the people will say no. She hasn't proven herself. And I understand everything that people are saying. She looks like she needs 2.5. She's only running against mares. All this sort of stuff. Completely true as well. I can't bring up facts that go against it. But that being said, I feel with Laurina running in the champion hurdle, it's our word as kind of the punters against Willie Mullins' word. And who's better at training horses? Us or Willie Mullins? I think it is Willie Mullins, to be fair to him. And I just think, now, I don't think Laurina is a good horse to be backing now. I know if she does run in the champion hurdle, she'll be shorter than 4-1 or 7-2, but I don't think she's that good an anti-post bet right now, because the value's kind of gone from her. And also, I can't hand on heart, sit to you here and go, she's 100% going to run in the champion hurdle. It wouldn't surprise me if Mullins takes a detour. But that will be the key for us, I think. If we get to the Tuesday at the Cheltenham Festival, we see the champion hurdle, Bouverdare's in there, Mellon's in there, Charger's in there, and Laurina is running, more than likely with Ruby Walsh on board, this horse, I think, will win the champion hurdle. And I say this because I feel he knows that this horse could be an Annie Power. This could be a performance. I think a lot of people had doubts that Annie Power was going to win the champion hurdle over 2. She'd done most of her running over further trips in the past. This isn't that dissimilar. And I feel tactics could be similar. They'll have her up in the van if she does run in the race. But it's a bit like Annie Power. Obviously, they ran her in the champion hurdle when they thought she could win the champion hurdle. Then the following year they had Limini come out and she beat Apple's Jade in February time, and everyone was going mad that she was going to run in the champion hurdle. And Mullins knew Limini couldn't win that race and ran her in the mare's hurdle instead. It's the same with Benny Dadu. Like, they're not going to run Benny Dadu in the champion hurdle. They know she can't win the race. But this idea that Laurina, can run in the race and the set target is to run in the race just gets me tingling that Mullins knows that this horse could be good enough. Obviously on the day things can happen. She could make a big mistake, she could blow up, she could break a blood vessel, but that's horse racing. You've got to take that gamble if you're backing her. And I understand there are going to be more solid options, and pretty much everyone in the field will have actually accomplished more than her, because I wouldn't doubt that Mullins will not run her again until the champion hurdle. I don't see where she's going to run, because she won't run in the Irish champion hurdle. I would be amazed if the champion hurdle isn't her first time facing the geldings. And I just think, now it's obviously a personal opinion, but if Willie Mullins rates are good enough to run in this champion hurdle, then she'll be going close in this champion hurdle. It's not a great division. The fact that Sharjah is now being talked about to win the champion hurdle just tells you what sort of a division it is. It's an open division. It's the same as the Stayers hurdle. It's there for a young, unexposed horse to come out of the water. Laurina could be that horse, getting the mare's allowance as well. And I think if Laurina runs in the champion hurdle, Laurina could well win the champion hurdle. So that's your big talking point of the brief this week. I want your opinion. Do you think Laurina is good enough? I've obviously stated my opinion. Going on just to the racing over the weekend, there's some decent enough racing. I don't have the cards at hand, so I'm not quite sure what everyone's going to be running in. There's some good races at Warwick though, and I did like, especially in the 3 mile novice chase, I think it's been won by American in the past, and the likes. I did like White Moon each way for Colin Tizard. I think 3 miles will see the best out of this big grey horse. And in the classic chase over 3-5, the Mark Bradstock horse, I think called Step Back, it's around 8-1. I think of the cracking each way bet, ran very well on seasonal reappearance at Chepstow over a trip clearly too short. There's also some good races at Kempton. I'm not sure. I'm here on the Friday morning. The full declarations haven't come out yet. Obviously, if Waiting Patiently is going to run in the race, Waiting Patiently will win the race. Other than that, I think Top Notch could upset Charbel. I'm not quite sure about Charbel. He wouldn't be one of my favourite horses in training. Well, that's just me. Obviously, we had a bit of luck last week with Elixir de Nuts, and hopefully we can get a bit of luck with White Moon and Step Back in this week's weekend tip. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel down below. And as I've already mentioned, give me your thoughts about Laurina. Is she a champion hurdle horse in the making? And if so, why? And if not, why? I'll see you next week. Best of luck.